Yo, imagine a game where crossing the try line isn't just worth 4 points, it would be worth 5. That's one extra point. Might not seem like a big deal at first, but the more you think about it and really break it down, it could change everything about how rugby league is played now and in the future. Would it make the games more exciting? Would there be teams suddenly taking more risk overall? Or would it have more attacking reward and finally put an end to that grind heavy low scoring games? And most importantly, how would it affect us West Tigers fans? Because based on how we've been playing this year, this could be either a huge advantage for us or it could completely expose us. We're going to break it all down and more in this video, but before we do that, welcome back. I am Geordie. I'm a diehard black, orange, and white fan. I love all things West Tigers. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps me in the algorithm out a ton. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about the rumor of introducing a 5-point try rule, and it's got me thinking, what would that actually mean for our club specifically, because we are all things West Tigers, and we're going to be going deep on this one, breaking down the positive, the negative, and everything kind of in between. So let's get into it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments right off the bat. Now, this rumor, idea, whatever you want to call it, comes from Laurie Daley. He's been pushing for this rule change that would reward attacking teams by making tries worth 5 points instead of 4, and I believe it's out of their own 40. So on the surface, it sounds like a great way to kind of make the game more exciting, more points on the board, more incentive to throw the ball around, and less of the slow, grinded out style that some teams rely on, especially in the end. And I'll be honest, for a team like the Tigers that's already trying to play more expansive, create style, and under Benji, this could be an absolute game changer. Would you guys agree? Before we get ahead of ourselves though, he really needs to think about how this could affect us. And first, let's talk about what this would mean for our attack going off the bat. Right now, we are still figuring out, I would say, our identity as a team, but also as players. We've got young, exciting talent in the back line, which we'll get more into later in the video. And we've also got players who can create something out of nothing, and we've seen glimpses of that. What we can do when we actually throw the ball around and be intentional with our plays. But at the same time, we are still developing. We're still quite fresh and green and not quite polished attacking machines that we could be. And that can consistently break teams apart, right? And there has been moments this season where I think we've struggled to convert opportunities in the points, if you know what I'm saying. So if the 5-point rule actually came out and was a thing, let's just say tomorrow hypothetically, would it really benefit us, or would it just expose what we aren't actually doing correct, and we just aren't being clinical enough to take full advantage of it? Because here's the thing, if you're a team like the Panthers or the Broncos, where every attacking set is kind of a structured and precise thing, this rule would be a dream for them. They already know how to execute. I would say they already know how to finish what they start. But for a team like us, where we are still building our chemistry, finding our rhythm, figuring out our closeout games, I feel like this rule could be a double-edged sword on tough games, kind of like the Broncos. It would give us an extra point for every try out of the 40, sure, but would it also mean that we get punished harder when we fall to the finishing attacking sets properly, kind of like we do in most halves of our second halves? We kind of fall out and fizzle out. And then that's the flip side is defense. If a try is worth 5 points, that's completely shifts our team's approach defending their own line, right? Suddenly the stakes are even higher and you're pinned in your own 20. So right now, if you concede a try, it's frustrating for sure, but you can still fight your way back into the game with a couple solid sets. But if the tries start being worth 5 points, does that make it almost impossible for certain teams to stage a comeback, considering conversions are 2? So would teams kind of stop taking risks defensively, play in a more passive style just to avoid giving up points? And if that happens, does it actually make the game more exciting, or do you think it will just make it even more predictable? For the Tigers, I feel like this rule could just really test our resilience overall. That's what I keep coming back to. We've already struggled in patches defensively this year. We are definitely getting better, and if we suddenly go up against teams that have even more motivation to score, do we defensively have that steel to handle this? Right now, I'd say one of our areas we still need to improve on is definitely defense and our line speed, and we've shown we can dig in and defend well in those moments, but consistency, I think, has been our issue. Would this rule force us to become a more disciplined defensively sound team? Absolutely. I don't think it would just make us be a defensive unit, but I think it would make us be even more costly in those moments. And then that's like the mental side of it too. Like, think about how this would change a team's approach to the final minutes of a game. If you're down by 6 points, right, under our current system, you know exactly what you need, a converted try. But under 5-point rules, everything changes. Suddenly, you never are truly out of the game, right? If you're within 5 points in a single try, like, that could flip the momentum completely. That makes footy exciting. I would say that would make it so much more exhilarating to watch and to kind of rethink our game management and our plays. Would this benefit us? I think it depends on whether we become the kind of team that thrives under the pressure that would benefit a 5-point game. So right now we've had games where we've looked composed in big moments, but we've also had games where we've had lots of things slip away, especially later in those halves. And if this rule ever became reality, I think it would demand a level of composure, and we are still trying to work towards that, right? So could we even get there? Absolutely. But would it take time? No friggin' doubt. I will be real with you guys. No BS, no fluff with that. So let's talk about how this ties into the Tigers' latest roster update, because we've just locked in Fatape in our top 30, and we've got, don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Isaac Tuatupo and Christian Mapapalungi on training contracts, and this is huge. Like, these guys are young, they're exciting players, and if they do make it to that 5-point try system, if that ever becomes a thing, having that kind of attacking firepower could be a huge advantage with these young blokes. And I have to say this, like, Fatape still isn't quite ready for the full team, but I like this kid. I think he's got so much potential, and we've seen it, right? Like, we've seen what he has, but he does need work. And if we're talking about a game that could become even more attack focused, that makes defensive weaknesses stand out even more, and I just don't know if he's ready for it. But Benji needs to work closely with him before he becomes a regular first grader, in my opinion, because in a system like where every try is worth now 4 points but could be worth 5 points, you can't be affording to have those defensive liabilities on the field. And finally, let's talk about recruitment, because if this rule were to come in, how would it change the way the club build their squads, right? Would we see a shift with like attacking players suddenly becoming even more valuable while defensive players, like, you know, get overlooked? If that happens, does that mean we need to start investing in like things like speed, agility, and creativity already more than we are? Or does it mean that we double down on trying to like find the balance between being like a few teams that can both attack and defend at extremely high levels? Because at the end of the day, this rule isn't just a small tweak, it's going to be a complete transformation of the game, and for the Tigers it could be either a blessing or a major curse depending on how we adapt. And if we embrace it and refine our attack, it could play the right hands and the right cards in our hands. And if we don't get our defense in order, it would be all over for us and make it 10 times harder. So what do you guys think of this rumor? Would a 5-point try game even be worth watching for you guys? Do you think it would make NRL better? Do you think it'd be good or bad for the Tigers, specifically for our crew this year? I doubt we'll see it this year. It'd probably be a 2, 3, 4 year thing. But like the whole idea of it, I kind of get excited thinking about it. Something different, something fresh. I like how the old timers are thinking, like, how can we spruce up the game a little more? Because footy definitely has changed in the last 10, 15, 20 years, right? And like I've seen you guys commenting about how footy just isn't the same. So what can we do now to kind of spruce it up, make it a little more exciting? There's even talk, I believe it's from the Bulldogs coaches and head staff, of putting like names on jerseys, which, that's a whole debate too, taking away sponsorship space, then constant movement and player changes, but it adds kind of that marketing kind of thing to it, that personal piece for fans. I mean, how sick would it be to have like a Luai jersey that you could buy in the number 7 or Galvin at number 6, like things like that. It's cool ways not only for like the monetize on the NRL, but they also make it more engaging and more high stakes for people to watch. So I personally am in full support of the 5-try game. plus you get the 2 conversions, so you're sitting at 7 points. Like, that is huge. But yeah, I don't know. There's lots of pros and cons, and especially for the Tigers. Yeah, I think if we don't sort our crap out, it would be a major con to have that, and we'd probably be back at square one. But we do have so much to dream big about, guys, and we are making movement forward. I love how Benji is putting focus on the recruitment and kind of getting young fellas in the training and stuff like that. People like Fatape, because I know he sees potential. I see potential. You see potential in him. It's just kind of honing in his skills and kind of sharpening his edges, because he will be a weapon one day. And you look at people like Tufanu, like people like him, like, there's just no end for the West Tigers if we can keep getting people like them and training people to be like them. Like, this will be a pivotal, year or 2 years for the West Tigers if we make the right moves, and we've been saying that. But again, this was just a rumor video. The articles are all over the internet, so feel free to check them out if you don't believe it for yourself. But I saw it. I had to break it down with you guys. One, because it's huge news right now, and I need everyone to know about this and get your thoughts and opinions in the comments. But two, because I think our Tigers, if we can get our stuff together, we will be dangerous if this new rule were to come in eventually. But as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. You guys are freaking legends, man. We are slowly approaching 1,200 subscribers. Well, I forget which bloody social media platform we're on sometimes. But yeah, I'm going to do a giveaway at 2,000. So make sure you share this video, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, comment in the comments below what you think overall this rule is all about. If you're for it, against it, how you think the Tigers would respond. And yeah, we have so much to dream big about, baby, this year. Yeah, it's going to be a great game against the Broncos this coming weekend. I am so pumped. Going to live stream the whole thing. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for that. But yeah, take it easy, guys. Geordie out.